I am asked on a regular basis, can I make Chinese takeaway food gluten-free? Thankfully, the Chinese love their rice. Now you can have that as boiled rice or a fried rice or even made into noodles. The two main ingredients, I guess, which are the culprits for gluten, especially when we're cooking, is oyster sauce and soy sauce. Thankfully, you can buy both completely gluten-free. You may need to shop around a little, but a lot of the health supermarkets, the bigger supermarkets and some of the Oriental supermarkets and online do supply gluten-free oyster sauce and soy sauce. Today we're cooking yuk sung. So yuk sung basically is a dish that's served in a lettuce leaf. It can be served with chicken, king prawn, pork, or just vegetables. It really is up to you. So if you are a vegetarian, you can use cauliflower, which is a really, really nice replacement to the protein actually. For the ingredients, for the fresh, we're going to need some ginger. We'll need some garlic, a carrot, which I've peeled already, just to save the mess. A couple of spring onions and just a normal onion. Then we've got some water chestnuts and cashew nuts just to top your dish off at the end. You're going to need a tablespoon of sugar, 3 tablespoons of oyster sauce. If you're gluten-free, you can buy gluten-free oyster sauce or gluten-free mushroom stir-fry sauce. Dark soy sauce, same thing again, guys. If you're gluten-free, go and buy the gluten-free variation. And then rice wine. If you don't have rice wine, which I'm pretty sure that most of you don't, and why go and spend £7 on a bottle of wine that is not even drinkable, you can use dry sherry or even some red wine, okay? In goes a tablespoon and a bit of oil. And because my wok isn't too hot, I can add in the Cantonese aromats. Now the Cantonese aromats are my ginger, my garlic, and my spring onions. Now these 3 aromats is what make Cantonese food Cantonese food. As your wok starts to get hot, you'll get that aromatic smell. This smells like a Chinese takeaway now, or a good Chinese restaurant. I'm going to push my aromats just to one side, creating like a well in the bottom of my wok. And this is when I'm going to add in my chicken. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to fan out the chicken so I get pretty much one layer in direct contact with the bottom of the wok. Now what I've got to do at this point is leave it alone. What we're trying to do now is seal the bottom of that chicken or pork or beef or whatever you're cooking, and we're going to try and get a little tiny bit of colour on there. Now that colour are the sugars from that chicken caramelising, and this is what's going to inject more flavour into our dish. And I'm going to place my onions into the centre of the wok, which is hopefully where all the heat is. And I'm going to try and fry out some of these onions now. So once they're in there, just spread them out, fan them out so they're in direct contact with the heat source. And just leave them alone, guys. When you're ready, you can add your diced carrots and your diced water chestnuts. And we're going to fry these off just for a minute, and keep moving it, just so everything's incorporated now. We need to balance this saltiness out with the sweetness. So first thing I'm going to add is about a tablespoon of sugar. Again, guys, if you're trying to be good and you don't really want to add the sugar, by all means you can omit it. I do think it makes a lot of difference. So personally, I would put it in. So just sprinkle your sugar in. That's followed by 3 tablespoons of either the mushroom stir-fry sauce or oyster sauce that you've got. Again, guys, if you are gluten or gluten intolerant or celiac, literally buy the gluten-free version of this or make your own, and it really isn't hard. To that, guys, we're going to add dark soy sauce. Now, dark soy sauce is richer in umami and again sweeter. So there's a tablespoon and a half. So 1.5 tablespoons of dark soy sauce. Now, I didn't measure this out. I literally just did it by eye. And I do advise that when we do cook, you do everything by eye and taste. Now, give that a really good mix, just to make sure that every single piece of this ingredient is coated with the seasonings that we've just added. So in goes the rice wine, and we're going to give that a really quick stir. And we're going to turn the heat off. A teaspoon of sesame oil. That just gets stirred in. And I'm just going to transfer this into my serving bowl. Grab our cashew nuts and using both hands, just give it a good crunch. So we're just crushing the cashew nuts in our hands, and we're just going to sprinkle that over the top. You need to grab one of these lettuce leaves now. That's a nice one. And then you want to take a good 2, maybe even 3 spoonfuls of this and plonk it straight into the middle. Don't forget to grab some of those cashew nuts on the top. That's just going to add the extra element of crunch. Carefully make it into a little wrap. And with the biggest mouthful, we're just going to dive in and you can tell me what it tastes like. That's 2 mouthfuls, it's that good. Really is simple, guys. Fantastic. And there we have it, guys. Such an easy dish. And again, every single one of the ingredients that we use today is readily available in your local supermarket. So, you know, it's not specialist in the sense that you haven't got to go searching for ingredients.